Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. In this video we're going to take a look at the Admiral or War Admiral by Vlad or V Knives. So Vlad is a newer distributor of certain brands of knives, and he has worked closely with V Knives for a while, and that relationship essentially allowed him to develop and produce his own designs. So this is the first of them, and he does have another on the way, but again it's called the Admiral or War Admiral. And it is a big, it's a cleaver, so cleaver style blade here. So we'll take a look at it. Specs, overall impressions, and details as always. Does ship with a padded pouch. Move that out of the way. So yeah, I mean it's wasn't quite sure what to expect with this one. I have shied away from cleaver style knives for a while now, and so I was curious to give this one a try and kind of see what I thought about it. Let's jump into the specs. So we've got a blade length of just about 3.75 inches, handle length of about 4.75, overall is about 8.25. Blade steel is CPM S35VN. The blade thickness is 0.157 inches or 4 millimeters. The handle thickness is 0.49 inches, so just under half an inch thick, and the width at the widest portion here is 1.8 inches, so fairly substantial. Blade shape is something along the lines of a reverse Tonto, does have a hollow grind. This one has a blackened stonewash type finish on it, runs on ball bearings, and it is a flipper with a titanium frame lock and a stainless steel lock insert. So yeah, those are the specs for the most part. This one does weigh in at 5.65 ounces on my scale, and it's just a really interesting knife. So in the last couple years, I think potentially the Debt Collector by Trouble Blade Works was kind of the first knife to popularize the cleaver style in a folding knife. And I don't know what happened. I think that company has potentially disappeared. There's some other ones, Rad Knives and so forth, that have utilized cleaver style blades, but they lack a degree of practicality. Having such a wide blade in a folding handle is not as practical as many other knives. So, when I did the video on the Spyderco Mamba here, I did talk about its degree of, what did I call it? Delightfully impractical, due to the width of the knife and then the thickness and the overall size. So let me show you guys a kind of a size comparison here of these two. In terms of the width, just about the same. Look at the thickness though, substantially thicker on the Mamba, and then kind of in terms of size of the handles and so forth, there's the difference. So delightfully impractical. Somewhat delightfully impractical, but less impractical than the Spyderco Mamba. One other size comparison, just to give you guys an idea. Kershaw CQC7K, of course. So, yeah, not too much bigger than the CQC7K. Hopefully that's displaying that well. Thickness, a little bit thicker. So anyway, so those are the specs. As far as what my overall impressions are, I actually like it more than I thought I would. Obviously, I'm giving up a certain amount of space here towards the top of my pocket when I've got this thing clipped inside my pocket. So that does use up a lot of real estate, but I still can get my wallet in and out with jeans. So it works, Obviously it's not the ideal choice, and that argument can be made, but guys who like cleavers don't really care about the practicality so much. They just like the size and the way that it looks. This thing has been a huge hit among my knife friends that are not, among my gun friends that are not knife guys. All of them have really, really liked this just massive blade. They thought it was really cool. So a lot of cleaver fans out there. I think this one would make any of them happy. So it does have a finger hole here too, which I can do the middle finger flick with. So anyways, let's get into the details on this one. And now that we've gone over the specs and I've talked about my overall impressions, It's better than I thought it would be. I like it more than I thought I would. It's not as practical as some other knives, and again, if you're buying this, you already know that. It flips surprisingly well for such a large blade, and that's something that I wasn't sure how it was going to go. So, really good flipping action with that massive blade. Obviously, the weight of it makes it drop close pretty easily, so yeah, good flipping action. And then can get a good middle finger flick on it. So CPM S35VN does have a blackened coating on it. Not entirely sure what the coating is, some type of PVD I'm sure, but it was stonewashed after it was coated, and it's actually been holding up really well. Haven't noticed any discoloration, so it's holding up better than I anticipated. It does have a really nice hollow grind. No, is that hollow? Flat grind. Yeah, that's a flat grind. I apologize if I called it a hollow before. Has a really nice flat grind that comes down to a pretty keen edge, and this edge is shaving sharp. Where I'm missing some hair. I was showing someone. Why not? So, yeah, shaving sharp on a massive, massive blade. So you do not want your finger in the way when this thing drops close. So, yeah, kind of a reverse Tonto style blade. Tons of belly. In terms of actual cutting and cutting performance, it's not a terribly thick piece of blade stock, so it does actually perform really quite well. So definitely one consideration. The hole here, again, I can't use it for a thumb flick. Maybe I just don't have the right technique, but the middle finger flick works just fine. So, flipper tab has some texturing, which is of course very much nice and potentially needed on such a heavy blade. Uses a ceramic ball bearing system and a ceramic detent, so really smooth, as I've shown you guys multiple times here. Torx pivot on both sides. I went ahead and added a little bit of Loctite to both the screws here. After some incessant flipping, it needed to be tightened again, so I just went ahead and Loctited it. Now the handle is stonewashed titanium. They've done some really interesting milling here, and at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but in the hand it actually works really well. It gives it, again, kind of that contoured feel here with the small flat portion, but very comfortable in the hand. And the handle shape also lends itself well to a very comfortable grip. Double finger choil, which again on a lot of knives I've taken a look at recently, just gives you a ton of control, and then as it obviously gets smaller towards the butt of the knife, it just kind of falls into the hand really well. So very comfortable in the hand, and mostly in part to obviously the design, but the stepped milling also helps quite a bit. I feel like it also offers a bit of traction. Yeah, it offers a good bit of traction as well on the handle, so you don't feel like you're going to slip on it. There is some jimping here at the top of the spine. Pretty good. Probably medium to high medium traction. And I apologize, there's a bunch of lube here around the pivot. My bad. So hopefully you guys can get over it. VDK for Vlad there. Those are the initials he's using. And yeah, so lockup is just about, let me look around the camera here. It's pretty early, maybe 10 to 20% tops. Rock solid, especially once I added the pivot or added Loctite to the pivots and retightened them. It's man, rock solid. It's perfect. Still smooth. So let's see what else. Lanyard hole at the back if you want to add a lanyard to it. And the only thing that I've had some trouble with on this knife is the gap here for the pocket clip is a little bit too thin for some of my jeans. So I told Vlad about this, and of course his response was, okay, I'll make some new ones. And I don't know if that's for the next run or if he might sell them separately for this one. I don't think that'll plague most people, but for me, I have, I don't know, apparently really thick pockets on my jeans, so not enough space right in there. But that's pretty much it. Now what that does afford you with such a low profile pocket clip is that, in the hand, you can't feel it. You know, it's small, straight, it's thin. It is 3D milled titanium, but it disappears in the hand. You just can't feel it at all. So, anyways, I guess that might depend on your jeans or shorts, whatever you're rocking this with. There is a backspacer, just kind of a flat piece of titanium. That might be, I don't know, a cool place to have anodized the backspacer there, add a little pop of color or something. But yeah, way better than I expected, to be honest. And you know, I should have had probably higher expectations for it, considering that it was made by VDK Knives, and their knives have impressed me thus far. No complaints on any of the VDK Knives. Some people have talked about the screws or screw heads being a little bit soft. I haven't really taken too many of them apart, so I haven't had any problems thus yet. But excellent fit and finish, great flipping action. You know, if you're down with the cleaver, you know, and you're willing to take up that much space in your pocket, then you'll like it. It's you know, it's one thing that I like is kind of the practicality with the thickness of the blade and that flat grind. It takes kind of a, you know, again, a slightly impractical knife, but gives it tremendous utility. Some of the other cleavers that I've handled had such thick blade stock in combination with just a massive handle and a massive wide blade that it, you know, it was impressive, completely impractical, but it didn't really cut very well. So I think that's where this one kind of comes ahead of in terms of actual use as compared to some of the other cleavers, is the blade stock still makes it very usable, and the handle is very ergonomic and not too thick either. So anyways, that is my take on the Admiral here. Definitely fun. I think they've all pretty much sold out. There were a few dealers that got some. There might be some left at like Knife Center or something. But by and large, these have sold out, so quite a few cleaver fans out there. Anyways, guys, I flipped this one. I think I've done way too much flipping in this video, but thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think. If you guys ended up buying one, let me know if you agree or disagree with kind of my assessment or my thoughts on the knife. And if you guys haven't bought one, well, hopefully you have a friend who has one you can check out. Again, went over really well with all my gun friends. So thanks for watching, guys. More videos to come, and I'll see you soon. Take care.